Okay. I, Robin Dingman, do hereby solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully, justly, and impartially discharge the duties of council member for the City of Becker, Sherburne County, State of Minnesota, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations, Robin. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Oh, we've lost Greg completely.
He's
Just on the phone? Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the City Council meeting of November 17th, 2020 to order. If we'll go and rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a reminder to the participants, council will state their name while making a motion and seconding any actions this evening. Voting will take place in the order that we sit on the dais, starting with me and moving to my left. All right, has council had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes of November 4th and November 12th? If so, I'll ask for a motion of approval.
I move we approve the minutes from the meeting of the 4th and the 12th. This is Mike.
Robin will second.
Okay, motion from Mike, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion carries. Any changes to this evening's agenda?
Yes, I have to. I can't find it exactly, but the Mahler Architects proposal to be added to the agenda for approval tonight. It'll be presented by Phil.
Okay.
I also have one. The fire board has amended some minutes from our July 20th joint meeting. So if we can add that to the agenda also, that would be great.
All right. We'll add those.
Yeah, but
This is Rick. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
this is Mike. I'll second it.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike to approve the amended agenda. Those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes. Guests and open forum. I'll instruct the operator to open the line. Anyone commenting for the open forum must present their name with a spelling, their address, and their phone number. Does anyone wish to comment during this time? Seeing no additional lines on the call, we'll move on to committee reports. Mike, will you give us a summary of the Carl E. Johnson ribbon cutting ceremony?
We had the ribbon cutting ceremony. There was 3 council members there. Unfortunately, I don't believe there was any Park and Rec board members. Was there, Josh? But there was a bunch of people in the park, so that was kind of nice to see. We invited them to come and get the picture taken with us. And so scissors was so big, I had to hold it, and Robin got to chop the ribbon.
Oh, fun.
So it turned out okay. Rick was there also, and it was kind of enlightening. It was fun to do, and that's about it. And I don't know. I didn't even get. Did you put that in the paper?
Yeah, I saw some on
Josh?
paper.
It did go in the paper. Yep.
Okay. So will that be this coming Saturday? I'll come out, or
It was in this last Saturday's. They didn't use any of the photography that we had supplied from the day. I think they're one of the staff of the Patriot went there the following day and took some of their own photos. So, but it was in this Saturday's edition.
Okay. Okay, that's about it for that. We did not have a Park and Rec meeting this month.
All right, how about EDA?
This is Rick, I can give EDA. Our main item of business, we hosted the presentation of the housing study, and this was the Becker-specific version of the housing study. We had members of the Planning Commission were in attendance as well.
How about Public Works, Mike?
Public Works, we did a lot of talking about equipment, shuffling around and buying some new. Phil was going to give a proposal, and I'm going to make him explain what we're going to do with this stuff and the tractor part of it. And Chris is going to give us a proposal for a truck and what we're going to do with shuffling those around. And that was pretty much what we did.
All right, and Becky, do you want to do Fireboard?
Yeah, for sure. We actually just met last night. Things we learned, they received a donation from Land O'Lakes, so that was pretty cool. The amount of $600. The new truck that we approved is in progress. They're getting pictures of it being sent. I mean, it's nothing major yet, but they know they're working on it. They've ordered everything that they could with their CARES funding, so that's kind of exciting. And that they're really kind of splitting up the training and stuff due to just COVID and trying to keep their numbers low of people together. But their staffing numbers have actually been pretty good considering just the spread, that they've only had a couple of people out or on quarantine right now. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
So that's it.
Hey, Tracy,
Any
we
other
had the
committee
joint
reports?
planning. Tracy, we had the joint planning special meeting too.
Oh, yes. Do you want to give a summary?
Sure. So joint planning, we had a special meeting the other night. It was one item of business was there was a landlocked parcel on the township that the person was looking to build on, and so there was some back and forth negotiation, but ultimately it was approved with a call it a same-day amendment type of thing. And the final piece was they ended up doing a land swap to make sure it stayed within the 20 acres. Without getting into all the details, it had to the smaller parcel still had to be at least 20 acres. So they did a land swap in order to kind of work that out at the last minute in order to still keep the parcel within the 20 acres. So that was our only item of business. That was a special meeting. We'll still have a regular meeting coming up.
All right. Any others that were forgotten? All right, moving on to public hearings. We have a public hearing for weed assessments. Chris, do you want to do an introduction or would you like me to open it first?
I can do an introduction and then we can open it. So I have RCA and Resolution 2082 for a public hearing for the weed assessments over the summer. City staff do their weed ordinance inspections. The properties that were found to be in violation were sent a letter. They were giving opportunity to address that. If they did not address it, city staff would go and mow those properties. To date, we have a proposed assessment of 7 properties that remain with unpaid bills from that work. And these properties were listed in Exhibit A. So tonight, I would ask that we open the public meeting to address those assessments left on the roll.
Go ahead and open the public meeting at 5:13 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to address the weed notices? Hearing none, I'll ask a motion from council to close the public meeting.
This is Rick. I would move we close the public hearing.
Becky, I'll second it.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike to close the public hearing. Those in favor may state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, I.
Motion passes to close. We are closed at 5:13 p.m.
Then a motion, a second to approve resolution 2082 to adopt those assessments with grass mowing to the 2021 taxes would be appreciated.
This is Mike. I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2082 for weed assessment.
This is Robin, I'll second it.
Motion from Mike, second from Robin. Any discussion?
I have a question. How many are left that haven't paid up, Chris?
7.
7? That's not too bad.
Yep.
Hearing nothing more, those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, I.
Motion passes. Public hearing for delinquent utilities. Connie.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, staff mailed out notices for delinquent utilities, and the city has that authority under Minnesota State Statute 444.075, subdivision 3. We've mailed out a total of $20,657.87 worth. To date, 44 accounts remain outstanding. And so I guess a motion to open the public hearing would be appreciated.
This is Rick. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
It's Mike. I'll second.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike to open the public hearing. Those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, I.
Motion passes. Public hearing is opened at 5:15. Is there anyone here wishing to address the public hearings for utilities? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
This is Mike. I move we close the public hearing.
This is
Becky,
Robin,
I'll second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky to close the public hearing. Those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, I.
Motion passes.
Okay.
We are closed at 5:16.
All right, so a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2087, certifying delinquent utilities to the tax rolls would be appreciated.
This is Rick. I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 20-87, certifying delinquent utilities to the tax rolls.
Robin will make a second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Sorry. Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, I.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving into board, committee, and consultant reports. Calling from his squad car for squad car purchases, Each Balloon.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have to say, I thought the weed assessment was going to be something else, but I'm happy it was regarding other kinds of weeds. So having said that, the request before you tonight is for a new squad car, as we have done in the past, just to try and get on the list, if you will, is to request the squad car a little early. So knowing that it's in the CIP for next year, we want to make the request now. So we are actually getting rid of, if you will, off of regular patrol function, squad car number 917. And by next year, that will likely be in excess of 90,000 miles. And traditionally what happens is once you get to about 90,000 miles, things change with the squad car based on idle time and the way they're used, that sort of thing. So it's a good time for us to remove the vehicle from our fleet for safety purposes and then to repurpose it if we can yet to other things. So what we have is 51,000 that's dedicated in our CIP to a new squad car. And right now under state contract, what we're going to be doing is just bidding out the squad car similarly as we have done in the past. No real changes are being proposed to the car. So it should in effect be about the same as we got just this past year. Or that we actually have right now. We're about to get out here pretty quick. But so the squad car will be about 32,403 after some of the things that we're going to be putting into it, whatnot, that sort of thing. Additionally, the car will come from 1040 Ford in St. Cloud. They have the state contract. So again, it'll be a black squad car. It'll look similar to the rest of them. Old squad car 917, a white car, will be just repurposed, likely within the police department, but we'll see what's going to happen at that point. And so I don't know if there's any questions at this point. Resolution 20-84 is before you for vote, if you will, tonight. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than willing to answer those.
Mike, I see you moving your lips. Can you unmute your mic?
I got to unmute. Okay, sorry about that. Last year, didn't we purchase like light bars and stuff like that? Replace equipment? Are we doing that again this year?
Yeah, as we are in a process right now of trying to replace some of the aging stuff. You usually get a couple of cycles out of it before it has to be replaced. Some of that stuff in this car next year will have to be replaced. We've already replaced like the siren box in the car. Won't have to worry about that because it actually went down this year. So we had to kind of jump and have to fix that. But this car will get a new light bar. It wouldn't need a new radar. Some other things, just fixing like some cage lights, some graphics, the tear down and stuff like that, and refitting with the squad cars, what kind of factors into the cost. So right now we're sitting right close to about 51,000 with the things that we've got earmarked for it.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering, because you said 30-some thousand, and I thought that sounds too cheap.
Don't I wish? Yeah, just with the tear down and stuff like that. That's the biggest cost, is the tear down of the squad car and then re-rigging of the new car. So, I mean, that alone is going to be well over $10,000.
Yeah. So right now you're estimating about 50,000, or do you have the exact number?
Right now we're right close to 50,000, which would leave us about $1,000 left if things go as planned. So that's what we're hoping for right now.
Okay. That's all I have.
This is Rick. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 20-84, the purchase of a 2021 police squad car.
This is Mike. I'll second that.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Now, from the space station, 2021 Ford F-350 purchase, Mr. Lisson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight I have an RCA and Resolution 2085 before you for replacement of water truck number 1, the 2012 Ford F-350 with a new 2021 Ford F-350 with service body and plow. We've got state bid pricing from Midway Ford for the truck. It was $36,255.80. The service body and accessories were $32,627, and the snowplow, Boss snowplow, is $6,906.10. Midway Ford did offer us $15,000 in trade-in value for the truck, which we will accept with council approval. So bring the final cost for the truck to $60,788.90. We did discuss this truck at our Public Works Committee meeting, and the committee agreed the replacement should proceed as presented. We did have $70,000 budgeted in the 2020 water CIP for this vehicle replacement. If there's any questions, I can answer those. Otherwise, a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2085 would be appreciated.
This is no questions. This is Mike. I'll make a motion to pass Resolution 2085, purchase of an F-350 Ford pickup.
Robin will
This
second
Becky, I'll
that.
second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
The 2020 water system control upgrades, Mr. Lisson.
Thank you again. So tonight I have our RCA and Resolution 2086. So staff worked with our preferred integrator Total Control Systems and looked at our water controls, SCADA systems to see what items needed to be updated. We have many parts of the water control system that are 15 years old or older. I've listed 3 separate projects that were proposed after this evaluation. The first would be upgrading tower number 2 SCADA equipment. That was $7,075 for those, which include items like our PLCs, some of the heater fans, supplies, power supplies. Second project was the replacement of all the radios in the water system. There are 5 total radios, so to replace all those would be $9,913. And the third project would be well 3 control equipment. So the well out at the golf course, it would be replacing VFDs that control the well, some power supplies, and various other items. Total for those 3 projects came to $34,565. We did discuss these upgrades at the Public Works Committee, and the committee agreed we should proceed with the upgrades. We did budget $50,000 in the 2020 water CIP for these upgrades. If there's any questions, I can answer those. Otherwise, a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2086 would be appreciated.
If there's no questions, this is Mike. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion. We approve Resolution 2086, Water System Controls Upgrade.
This is Rick. I'll second the motion.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, I.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate you dealing with my scratchy voice.
All right, Mahler Architect proposal. Mr. Knutson. I'm sorry, you're just in a regular red office. You have nothing fun.
I feel like I let you guys down, so I apologize for that. 2 things before we get started on this. First off, in reference to Mike's comments about the equipment that we discussed at Public Works, that discussion is going to take place at Budget and Finance on Thursday, and then we'll look to bring that stuff back to full council on December 1st, pending Budget and Finance. There's a lot of moving parts, so I want to make sure that we've got everybody up to speed, and then pending their approval, not to leave Becky out because she's not on either of those 2 committees, I will make sure that her and I have a chance to get together and get that information in place as well. So, and second, I apologize for the thing I'm presenting tonight coming so late. I was hoping to get a second bid back and I didn't get that, so I wanted to move forward with this tonight. So in front of you tonight, we do have a proposal from Muller Architects in regards to an addition at Pebble Creek Clubhouse. We've talked about this at executive session and in pretty good detail at Golf Committee regarding possibly adding simulators to the golf course. Staff has looked at every possible opportunity to place these simulators in the facility, and we've not found one. The cost of a remodel is kind of prohibitive because you're not gaining any square footage. So we're looking at this as aesthetically, it would be in line with the facility. It would provide a great space, and I think it would add another opportunity to the facility, not just for our patrons, but also a revenue stream for the city as well. So tonight, what we have in front of you is the proposal from Muller, which initially is for preliminary engineering in the amount of $4,100. That is survey work, topographic survey work, utilities, site dimensions, measurements, stuff like that. It actually gets us in a position where we could take things to get construction bids if we wanted to and take it further. If those numbers come back, then we would have to go into full CAD drawings, blueprint drawings, and it does include the civil and structural engineering as well, bringing the total to $15,600 if we execute the contract in its entirety. So in looking at this, the golf course operations are in a pretty favorable position because of the course, the busyness of the course this year. So we would look to spend the first $4,100 out of our current operating budget. And if we continue to move forward, it would bring us into the new year. And we do have money set aside in our CIP for building improvements as well as simulators. And if you move on this, Josh will be talking about the simulators in a little bit here, and we do have money for that. Actually, more money budgeted than the deal that he's working on. So tonight, again, what we're looking for is to get an approval on this so we can take our next steps. We're really committing to $4,100 and not to exceed $15,600 for the full project should we go that far.
So you're looking for a proposal to, am I turned on here? Yeah. To go into a contract agreement with Mahler Architects. Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, I have reached out to another architect firm with a local connection. They said they would have something forthcoming, and they've not responded to me. It's been 10 days since I poked them a couple times. I've also, in my past career, I worked with an architect out of the Twin Cities on several of my construction projects, and he and I talked back and forth. I gave him the quick drawings that Country Lumber had produced, and his number with expenses was just roughly about $24,000. And I told him he's not in the ballpark, and he said he wouldn't come down off of that because of his travel time and the things that he's at. So I think this is a very favorable pricing for us, and they come recommended from a reliable source as well.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll make a motion. We go into an agreement with Mahler Architects for the purpose of preliminary work for clubhouse expansion.
Becky, I will second that.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you,
Bill.
Council.
Golf simulator purchase, Mr. Kua.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight, we have kind of piggybacking off of the last topic on the agenda regarding the potential addition of golf simulators to Pebble Creek Golf Club. So even before my time with the city, there had been a lot of research and vetting of adding simulators to Pebble Creek. In fact, it's lived on our capital improvement plan for numerous years, and kind of been moved back a few years in the recent past. But we do have the purchase slated for 2021 in the Pebble Creek CIP. We have $75,000 reserved for the purchase of simulators, and an additional $20,000 for building improvements, which could be utilized for the other part of the project, which Phil discussed, the build out to accommodate the simulators. So we've really run across a recent opportunity to purchase two slightly used high definition golf simulators from a local company that has been housing them, but they live in the fitness world. And unfortunately, with COVID, their business isn't doing real well, and they're looking to find a partner to take over those particular simulators. So this really is a unique opportunity. In the packet, you'd see a quote for the purchase of $57,600 for the two simulators, and that's all installed, including specialized flooring that would take up a good portion of the build out, is also included in that quote. If we were to pass on this opportunity and look next year at these exact same simulators, it would cost over $107,000. So we're saving approximately $50,000 on two world-class, best-in-class simulators that we'd be looking to incorporate into our operation at Pebble Creek. One of the things that I really want to focus on is these simulators is far much more than just a golf simulator. They really are supplements to our food and beverage operation, our merchandise sales, club fitting, as well as they're fun. They're entertainment attractions that can play multi-sport packages, including baseball, soccer, There's shooting packages where you can, shoot zombies or play zombie dodgeball. There's law enforcement aspects that can be integrated for judgmental training, should we look to pursue that down the road. But they really are an attraction for entertainment. Golf will drive a lot of the return on investment, but there is a lot more value to adding the simulators than just simply golf activities. So the purchase that you have in front of you tonight, we've talked about at length with Golf Committee, as well as having a really great discussion at executive session on I think it was the 4th of November. But what we'd be looking to do is we have $21,000 that we've funded through our exclusive beverage contract that we signed with Viking Coca-Cola this year. So they gave us 3 years front loaded worth $21,000 for entering into that agreement with them. We look to dedicate those funds to something that would have an ongoing return on investment and also generate revenue streams. It's hard to think of a project that money would be better utilized than this particular one. So what we'd be looking to do is taking that $21,000 from that beverage agreement and putting that down to secure the units. So as far as immediate financial impact, we could secure those without those funds coming from our capital improvement plan or our operations budget, which is a nice opportunity. So we also have done a pretty in-depth return on investment analysis that's included in this attachment, where we kind of gamed out each month for the first year once they were put in play, and what kind of the good, better, and best scenarios would be based on usage and how that revenue would come in order to get the full return on the investment of both some build-out scenarios as well as the full purchase of the simulators. Long story short, as in the discussions with executive and golf committee and internal staff, we would probably put a budget in place where these simulators and a mid-range build out in the maybe $160,000 range, the return on investment would be achieved in approximately 3 years. Beyond that, then that would just be probably a $70,000 to $75,000 ongoing additional revenue stream for Pebble Creek at a very important time, three years down the road. So at the end, just looking for a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the golf simulators. This is something that we take very seriously. We know it's a big project, but we're all very excited about the potential it could add to Pebble Creek Golf Club for a long time to come. With that, I'd love to turn it over to you guys to see if you have any questions.
There's no questions. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 HD golf simulators for Pebble Creek Golf Club.
And this is Mike. I'll second that.
Motion from Becky, second from Mike. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much.
On to our last agenda item for this evening is the July 20th, 2020 special meeting amended minutes. Mr. Przinski.
Madam Mayor, City Council, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent. So let me start with my apologies for last minute. This is something that just came up about a day ago. If you go back to July, remember we had a joint meeting with the fire board, and we discussed 2 items and took action on both of those items. Item number 1 is the 21 budget, and then item number 2 was Fire Relief Association. Our Relief Association was asking us to ratify a higher amount for their benefit, which the City Council Fire Board agreed to do that. We just didn't capture it accurately within the minutes. So this is something that, again, came up yesterday. And our joint operating fire board had a meeting yesterday, just coincidentally, and then so did the town board, and they agreed that the intent was to do both of those things in that motion. They wanted to take care of the 2021 budget and then also make the adjustment to the benefit for the Fire Relief Association. So Susan had sent out a PDF file. I know it's in there. I also sent out a Word document, so you had access to that too if you wanted to take a look at the minutes. And basically, there's no deletion from the minutes. The amendment is just clarifying the change to the benefit for the Fire Relief Association. Certainly not as fun as golf simulators, but certainly it's something that is one of those things that we have to formally adjust and make sure that it's captured accurately so we can move that forward. So with that, I can certainly try to answer questions. Otherwise, a simple motion and action on that agenda item would be appreciated.
This is Rick. I'll make a motion to accept the special meeting amended minutes as presented.
This is Robin. I'll second that motion.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Brzezinski, will you take the consent agenda?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. Consent agenda for November 17th, 2020. Item number 1, hiring and termination report form from administration, Pebble Creek and Becker Community Center. Item number 2 is designating a polling place for 2021, and that's in resolution 20-81. And the designated area for 2021 polling place would be Becker City Hall. And then finally, partial pay request number 7. And that pay request is to R.L. Larson, and that is for the 2019 Business Park expansion. And if you remember that construction contract amount in the amount of $5,831,341.05, this partial pay request in the amount of $55,896.73, leaving a contract amount of $390,866.94. So if anybody has questions, I'll try to address those. Otherwise, a motion to approve the consent agenda for November 17th, 2020 would be appreciated.
Let's see. This is Mike. That was for the service road, right?
Yes. Yep. Energy Drive.
And why are we still sitting on 300,000? I thought it was finished.
Punch list items, which they are working their way through, and there's a fair number of punch list items. So we hold back as much as we can.
No, I understand that. I just thought it was all taken care of already as well. So.
Yeah. Punch
Okay.
list.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda. This is Mike.
This is Becky. I'll second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none. Those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills. This is Becky.
This is Rick. I'll second.
Motion from Becky, second from Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor may state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
Motion passes. Does council have anything else for the betterment of Becker? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
This is Mike. I move we adjourn.
Rick, a second.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Those in favor can state aye. Tracy, aye.
Rick, aye.
Robin, aye.
Mike, aye.
Becky, aye.
We are adjourned at 5:43 p.m. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Good day. Good evening,
Thanks, all.
everybody.
See ya.
Goodbye. Have fun in the real world, Becky, tomorrow.
Oh my God, I know.
Stay safe.
Yeah, go out and get yourself in trouble again.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.